Hey yo, what up? Going on? What's good? Realest one, slide accordingly. Mr. Slide accordingly. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, support a real one. First off, let me lay out a disclaimer. So I understand when talking on these topics that involve the opposite sex, dynamics between men and women, it can get a little sensitive. Conversation, it can be a little triggering. You take a look around, you see the men dragging the women. You see the women dragging the men. Everybody's talking based off of their past experiences, right? And it seemed like there's more negative than positive. Like men and women don't really be having too much good to say about each other. So when I touch on these type of things, I always make one thing clear. I ain't talking about all, I'm talking about some. But then you got some who just don't care. You know, some of them might say, listen, some of y'all are alright. But then you got some who say, no, I'm talking about all y'all ain't shit. For the women, it's y'all niggas ain't shit, y'all bums, y'all dirty. Ugh, get out of here. And then for the guys, it's y'all nasty as hell, y'all some straight dots, right? Like I see some women, they'll like point to the nature of a man for being the reason why they feel strong towards men, right? It's based on us having the same nature. What they think about all men is based on us having that nature, that being wired the same to a degree. So to them, that makes us all no different, put us all in the same box. I always look at it like this. If we all have individual experiences, individual personalities, individual principles, morals, I feel like that should be enough, you know? But not all women. I just feel like all men and women shouldn't be placed in the same box. There's a difference how I look at it. You know, I don't really like that. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's cool to mistake all women for being the same. Now, I done met some genuinely decent, respectable women. Then I done met some ignorant, arrogant, you know. I done seen both sides of the coin. But anyway, that's my little disclaimer. When I talk about this type of stuff, I'm trying to make it clear I'm not talking about everybody. So I was listening to this brother who was speaking on chivalry, right? Pertaining to women. He ain't hold back either. What he said was he doesn't believe in that. He don't believe in the holding the door for women, you know, letting a woman go first, pulling out a chair. He don't believe in any of that. He doubled down on it till he said, I refuse to do that. Now I'm listening and I'm like, well, because I'm a man myself, I'm sure at some point he's gonna say something that's gonna make me potentially at least squint from his perspective. So I continued to listen. Reason being for him, he says women don't reciprocate and appreciate. Now, I didn't take that as him saying a woman should go out her way to open the door or anything for a nigga. Nah. I think he's more so talking about, like, it translated to me like he was saying reciprocate as in some women can be so entitled to be treated a particular way. And then it's like, it's okay for us as men to go all out on every level to every degree. But when it comes to reciprocating on their part, it's limits at times. For us, everything is a green light. It's okay for us to go all out. But when it comes to them at times, it's like there's limits all of a sudden, you know? They could feel like it's supposed to be that way. Just because we're men, just because we got a pair of testicles and muscles, we should or have to. And then on top of that, there's no genuine appreciation for it. Because they feel they don't have to or should, right? He basically like, you know, the only time he believes in showing any of that sort of courtesy is for the elderly, which I really couldn't complain about that part. He said, I would let the elderly go first. I would open the door for the elderly, right? Women forget that it's not actually an obligation for men to do those things. I'm talking about the opening the door, the pulling out a chair, things like that. Is it a respectable thing? Yes. But it's not an obligation is what he was trying to say. It's a choice if he should choose to take time to do those things, to go the extra mile or to even take time out his day to, you know, assist a random female that he runs into. For any and every man to do those things, ultimately, essentially, it's a choice. That's what bro was saying. And I do agree with that. I do agree that it is a choice. It's like I said, is it respectable? You know, does it give a sense of, you know, I mean, a man being a gentleman and all that stuff. Yeah, you know, for me, it depends, really. I'm not gonna lie. So when a woman has an interaction with a man, let's say a random guy at a random location, and he decides not to show one of these gestures, right? The woman might be so surprised at that man because she's so entitled to receiving that treatment. Most likely, she was always used to it. Like most, or maybe not. I believe he was referring to all, but I'm going to say most or half. I won't say that, you know what I mean? Because there's some real ones out here that move differently, and they're not entitled to anything at all. Are women naturally entitled to things like that, though? I mean, I'm asking the question. You know, I'm gonna leave it open. You know what I mean? Comments, thoughts, and opinions, and all that. Bruh actually went further with it. He said he's not even gonna raise his sons to believe that you have to show that etiquette to women. So he stands on it himself and insists his own sons learn to believe the same as him. So for me, I do these things. I open doors. You know, I let a woman go first. I was raised around majority women, so it's kind of like instilled to a degree. It's instilled, you know. I don't think nothing of it. I never felt like I really had to do it, you know, because that's just me. I never minded. I just really looked at it as me just being human to another human, you know, but that's just me. On the other side of it, I could see where he was coming and where he was going. I'm a man, duh. So I relate when he says things like women can lack appreciation for those little things like that. Feel entitled to those things, but once you do it, lack appreciation. I definitely understood what he was saying when he said that, and I definitely concur to that. And I'm sure I'm not the only man that would concur. The feeling of entitlement for whatever to be done, but then turn around and not show a dime of appreciation. So then it gets to a point of why do this? Why would you continue to do this? For me, I just feel we got to start with not comparing every woman to each other. I learned after everything that I've, you know, all my experiences, I feel like we definitely got to learn to not put all women in a box. I feel like we got to separate. This one might be a little ignorant, might not show as much appreciation, but this one showed more appreciation than you expected. You know, every woman is different. There's a portion that go right along together, but then you got a portion, even if it's a smaller portion, that's the complete opposite. And I can appreciate that, even if I ain't met them. You know, I just learned we got to separate, point out and pick apart the individuals. Like, I don't believe in packing everybody in the same category. It's no damn way every woman we meet has the same traits and personalities. They don't all move the same. I don't believe that. And I don't believe us as men do it either. I met some gracious, genuinely appreciative women, then met some selfishly inconsiderate women. I believe in respect, courtesy, chivalry. Even though they say that it's dead, probably, I'm sure they do. But it's still out here. A few of us still believe in it. Etiquette and all of that. But we want to make sure that we show those things to the right ones, to the women that deserve it. Respectfully. If you know, you know. You know, you come to realize with your experience of dealing with the opposite sex, you just can't refer to every single woman in the same manner. Can't treat every woman like a queen either. Can't give royal treatment to a peasant mindset, which is the same thing they say about us. You know, and I agree with that too. I go off the simplest thing, how you carry yourself and how you treat me. You know, reciprocation. Every action, reaction, response from me is solely dependent on those things. No man, well, I would think no man is going to want to go out his way for an ignorant, bitter, nasty demeanor of a personality, just rude and arrogant. But I know there's some dudes that will bend over backwards. And honestly, I think those dudes are the reason why there's an overall expectation of us all together. So when we do stand on our own self-respect and morals as a man, the way we do it, it can come off as a surprise to some. And they end up having damn near an out-of-body experience when they come to terms with the fact that, no, not every nigga is a fool for coochie. It's 2025. Some of us done came to a few realizations out this motherfucker. You know? With that being said, it's like, could a man be wrong for basing his respect level off the personality of a woman? Should there be a limit to it? Should all women receive the exact same treatment just based off the respective roles they were supposed to play? Regardless, no questions asked, just because we're men, just because we possess some damn muscles and testicles. Therefore, that's what we should do. To them, it's, well, what else were these niggas put here for? That's what it be like for some. So even though I show that respect, even though I show that courtesy, even though I know how to, to show that etiquette, I feel what that man was saying. Thoughts, comments, opinions.